Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm glad you're here. Today I'm going to talk about my graduate school years. If we learn what happens when an electric chair meets a moving car. But first I want to talk about the direction of the channel. I know in my early videos I've only talked about my story, but I promise you I plan on talking about things other than my story. I have a lot of different topics planned, from information about disabilities to talking about concepts in disability studies. I also plan on talking about stuff unrelated to disabilities, because my channel, or I'm not one-dimensional, and my channel is not going to be one-dimensional. So we'll talk about other topics too. As a YouTuber I follow says, "This is my channel, I can do what I want." So we're going to have a variety of topics. But for right now, I'm just going with what I know best. And I know my story the best. But as we move on, I'll branch out to other topics. Okay, now time to get into my graduate school years. During my senior year in college, I took the GRE, the entrance exam to get into college. I got the highest score in my class. With that high score, I applied to 3 schools and was accepted to all 3. My dream school was a disability studies program in Chicago. I remember mailing my application and thinking I had a 5% chance of getting in. I thought, wouldn't that be crazy if they actually accepted me? I read online once that it was the leading program in its field. I remember the day I got my acceptance letter. I thought life couldn't get better. I ran to everyone I knew and told them the good news. But there was the depression talking too, and the depression told me that all this success couldn't last. I remember telling my therapist at the time that I felt like a flower. I had bloomed beautifully, but now I was going to wilt and disappoint people. Boy, I couldn't have been more right. want me to go. I mean, looking back, I can't blame them. Here was a kid from a town of 1,200 people proposing to go to the third largest city in the country. And on top of that, I was severely disabled. I can't even imagine my parents' fears. To my parents' credit, they let me go. I mean, most kids at that age could go against their family wishes if they really wanted to, but I couldn't. I needed my parents to support me. There just wouldn't have been any other way for me to get to Chicago. Fortunately, my parents put their fears aside and helped me get to Chicago. Back then, I had the city lights in my eyes, and I didn't appreciate the emotions they were going through in order to make my dreams come true. I just thought about how big of an opportunity this was. I did take my parents' fears into consideration. I was so excited to be moving to Chicago. I had never been to a big city, and now I was going to be living there. My mind was blown. After about a week into school, I hit my first of several, shall we say, roadblocks that I would experience while in Chicago. I guess here I was born PCA Care. PCA stands for Personal Care Attendant. PCAs are people who help people with disabilities with stuff that you might take for granted, like dressing, toileting, cooking, laundry, etc. So now that I've explained PCAs, let's get back to that roadblock. All throughout my undergraduate career, I had PCAs that were paid by government programs. And when I said I wanted to go to Chicago, that government program said they would pay for my PCAs. So I thought I was set. However, when I got to Chicago, that government program told me they never said anything like that, and they weren't going to pay for my PCAs after all. After some back and forth and some hearings, it was determined they would not pay. Looking back, I should have secured PCAs before I even committed to Chicago, but I made mistakes. I was young and a little dumb. So here I was in the big city as a farm town kid having nothing to support me. I probably should have took the semester off and got things figured out. But I was too proud for that. I thought I knew everything and I wasn't going to admit my plans had gone awry. Plus, back then I could do everything independently, so I didn't fully appreciate how much my PCs helped me. I could do everything independently, it just took a lot of time. I knew doing things independently would take a lot of energy, but I did appreciate how much energy it would take out of me. So I spent the next 3 years as a severely disabled adult with absolutely no support. I was totally on my own. Yes, I tried to get supports, but navigating the Chicago health system by yourself as a student while dealing with mental health issues and being naive about your abilities is a recipe for disaster. But I still stayed in Chicago for 3 years and I managed to keep myself alive. I rate this as one of my greatest achievements in life and the one I'm most proud of. I'm also proud of my parents. They let me make mistakes. They let me fail. They could have said, Chelsea, we're coming to get you and take you home. And I really wouldn't have had much recourse, but they did. So if you're a person with a disability, it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. Especially if you're young and dumb like I was. And parents, let your child with a disability struggle and make mistakes. I know it's hard. It was hard for my parents, but because they let me struggle, I learned so much about myself and my abilities. So not having PCAs was the first roadblock, but it wasn't the only roadblock. The second dog happened in October of my first year in Chicago. I got hit by a car while I was in my wheelchair. It wasn't my fault. I was crossing the street in the crosswalk and the car was turning and didn't look. The cops later estimated I flew about 10 feet in the air and I did a 180-degree turn in the air. I landed on my side. It could have been so much worse than it was. I ended up with just a hurt pinky. I don't know if you're familiar with electric wheelchairs, but most of them are built pretty solid. Most of them are over 300 pounds. And I had a friend who was a fellow wheelchair user. And he told me if I ever got into an accident, I needed to tuck my body into a ball and let my wheelchair take the brunt of the impact. And that's what I did. I tucked and it worked out great. 7 months after my car accident, I severed my pinky toe. I was doing something that a wheelchair user should never do. I was going around without my footrest, and I was wearing sandals. I was going too fast, and I hit something with my foot, and I severed my pinky toe. Both of these accidents could have been much worse, but I called them roadblocks because they really set the tone for my entire Chicago experience. The tone they said was that bad things were going to happen. The final 2 roadblocks have to do with me. First, I was struggling with depression. I was getting treatment for it, but I had treatment resistant depression, and nothing worked. And if you watch my previous videos, you know I had always battled depression, but I was always able to rise above it. In my undergrad career, I was accomplishing great things despite having depression. But in graduate school, that wasn't the case. in graduate school, I laid in bed all day and I had zero motivation. I don't know what happened, but I just think the depression finally won. And it really did win when I was in graduate school. The final book was my personality. In graduate school, you need to be assertive and confident. You need to be able to take criticism. In graduate school, it's more of a exchange of ideas. And I wasn't confident in my ideas. I excelled in college because I knew how I learned best. I learned best with a lecture in a multiple choice test. I can ace those all day long, but give me a test where I needed to give my opinion, I freaked out. And that's what graduate school is. Learning to voice your opinion and generate ideas. And I, at that time, was pretty bad at it. I maybe could have got past that. But another thing graduate school requires is a thesis or a project. This just means a really big paper where most of the time you design your own study or a project. And to be honest, I just had zero experience with this. I never really had done a big project where I needed to do my own design. I also have a bad habit of not finishing big projects. I'm going to do a whole video about this later, but as my therapist says, I've almost done a lot of cool things. I have started a lot of cool projects, but I never get them finished. And that's exactly what happened. I got all my coursework done. I just couldn't complete the project. Who knows? Maybe making YouTube videos will go in the bin of unfinished projects. But for right now, I'm just doing what feels good to me. So I went to Chicago flying high, thinking I was going to be the next great disability scholar. And I crashed in disasters. And when talking about disasters, the experts talk about the Swiss whole theory of disasters. This theory states that it's never one thing that creates a disaster. It's always a series of things that line up just right. And if you take one piece out or put the whole in a different area, the disaster would happen. I looked at my time in grad school like the Swiss whole theory. They just lined up to create a personal disaster. If one of those holes wouldn't have lined up, maybe my graduate school career could have been different. But they just lined up just right to create a personal disaster. I wish I could go back with all the life lessons I've learned now. But for several reasons, I can't go back. So I just have to look at my time in Chicago as a great success because I was able to take care of myself for 3 years. And I also looked at it as an experience that I wouldn't have gotten had I not done so well in college. And I'm grateful for the experience. I just wish I could have been more successful. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you for listening. If you like this content, you know what to do. So in the next video, I'll talk about what happened after graduate school. And we'll get into let's say, the fun part of my biography. So, until the next